Shalom. First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, from whom I learned this truth. And shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayakala, and just wanted to take a look at envy and bring out just a few scriptures involving envy. And reason being because it seems like a lot of things that we see that are going on right now, it seems like they're being perpetrated by the wicked, whether it be 2/3 of the nation of Israel or just being a heathen himself. And it seems like a lot of times these things that they get away with, or these crimes that they commit, seem like they might be getting away, but they're not getting away from the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, because He sees and He's taking note of these things. And although He may allow them to get away for what it seems like for the moment, that's all it is just for the moment. So I just looked up envy according to Google, and they give me a quick definition of envy, what it means biblically. And with the AI overview says, in the Bible, envy is a sinful, bitter discontent over another's blessings, success, or possessions, stemming from a heart that resents the Most High's distribution and questions His goodness, often leading to division, strife, and acting as a work of the flesh opposed to the Most High Spirit, as seen in Joseph's brothers, or Paul's warnings in Galatians chapter 5 verse 21. And we will go over to Galatians chapter 5 and look at that. I don't think it's 21 that I wanted to look at though, but it says it's a painful longing for what someone else has. And that sounds like that could be covetousness. We'll look at that too. It says, unlike jealousy, which fears losing what one already possesses. So I'm just going to go right into the verses that I wanted to take a look at. First one I'm going to go to is Psalms chapter 37. And you can see the heading there. It says the security of those who trust in the Lord Yahweh, and insecurity of the wicked. And this is a psalm of David. It says, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they soon will be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. So even though it seems like these wicked are getting away or committing these crimes, and it seems like they're getting away with these things, the most Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is taking note of these things. And in the day of the Lord, believe me, if not before then, they're going to be taken care of, because they're not getting away with anything. The Lord, believe me, the Lord sees these things and is taking note of them. I'm going to go into Proverbs. I got a few verses in Proverbs that I wanted to look at about this word envy. Proverbs chapter 3. And verse 31 is what I want to go to. It says, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. In the NLT it says, don't envy violent people or copy their ways. All right, and when it says violent people, that's a characteristic of the oppressor. All right, with his oppression, that's what he means. He commits acts of violence. All right, now, so once again, keeping in mind that it seems like they're getting away with these wicked acts, these wicked things, these heinous crimes that they commit. There's nothing for you to be envious over them about, because they will be dealt with in the end, or even before the end. Or we're already seeing the breakdown of these people going against themselves, the heathen going against themselves, telling on each other. And you can see a lot of videos that's going up on YouTube where people that appear to be of the so-called white race, it may be Esau, possibly not, but a lot of them are coming out because they're getting sick of the things that those people that are in positions of authority, crimes that they're perpetrating, and it seems like they're getting away with it. All right, and this, in essence, this is hurting not only Israelites, but it's hurting, it's starting to affect a lot of the heathens also. All right. I'm going to stay in the book of Proverbs. And I'm going to go over to chapter 14. And I'm going to go to verse 30. It says, this is Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 30 says, a sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones. And in the NLT, it was really what I really wanted to bring out, was it says, a peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. Jealousy is like cancer to the bones. So when you living your life where you're being envious, or you're wanting to have some of the things that are wicked, that's what it's doing to you. It's breaking you down, and it's consuming you, because you're wanting to be so much like the wicked and copy his ways, because you think they're being prosperous. It's really weighing on you. It's really hurting you. All right, it's really consuming you, because even though you're being envious, you're being preoccupied so much with watching what they're doing and seeing what they're getting away with, and you're hoping that you can do the same thing, and it just leads to you either committing some of these acts, or it leads to you just being so preoccupied with them that it is breaking you down mentally and physically. All right. And like I said, we were going to take a look at being envious. You can also be envious, not just these the wicked and the acts that they're committing and getting away with, or seems like they're getting away with, but being envious of your neighbor, or that's actually like being covetous. So I wanted to just take a quick look at Exodus chapter 20, because that's one of the Lord's commandments, to not be covetous towards your neighbor. Not being covetous, period. Exodus chapter 20 verse 17 says, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. So anything that you're looking at of your neighbor, meaning your brother, and being envious of what it has, that's a sinful act to be committing. In the NLT it says you must not covet your neighbor's house, you must not covet your neighbor's wife, male or female servant, ox or donkey, or anything else that belongs to your neighbor. Are you looking at his vehicle, or looking at something else that he might possess and being envious of it, and wishing for it, and wishing that you had it, wishing it was yours, imagining yourself having it? That's a sinful act to be covetous of your neighbor and his possessions. And I'm gonna go back into the book of Proverbs. Chapter 23 is where I'm going, verse 17. And verse 17 says, "Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord Yahweh all the day long." In the NLT it says, "Don't envy sinners, but always continue to fear the Lord." And when you find yourself sitting up daydreaming and being covetous, or envying the sinners, or envying the wicked because of what they may seem like they're getting away with, what you need to do is focus on the Lord and continue to be fearful of the Lord, and knowing and recognizing that covetousness that you may have, that envy that you may be possessing in your mind, is a wicked act. It's a sinful act. All right. And I just have a couple more that I'm going to bring out, because this is a simple lesson that I'm bringing out, and I don't want to go overboard with it. Proverbs chapter 13. Salaki for going backwards, but yeah, Proverbs chapter 13, verse 13. Let's see, is that really what I wanted to bring out? Well, this might not have been the one that I wanted, but I'm going to read it anyway because it's going along on what I'm talking about. Committing that sinful act of being envious or being covetousness. It says, "Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed, but he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded." It says, "The law of the wise is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death." In the NLT it says, "People who despise advice are asking for trouble, and those who respect the command will succeed." All right. It says, "The instruction of the wise is like the life-giving fountain. Those who accept it avoid the snares of death." And that envy and having that envy and having that covetousness can be a snare, And what that was that's going against the commandment, commandment that we just read in Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. What other one did I have? I wanted to go into Galatians. I said we would take a look at Galatians chapter 5. Verse 26. Galatians chapter 5 verse 26 says, let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another. In NLT it says, let us not become conceited or provoke one another or be jealous of one another. Let's look at what this word vain is, vain glory. And this is a Greek word here, G2755, and I'll give you a pronunciation of it.
Strong's G2755. Kenodoxos. Kenodoxos.
All right, and it's under the biblical usage. It says glorying without reason, conceited, vain, glorious, eager for empty glory. All right, and I wanted to bring that up because it seemed like the wicked get away with so many of these things. They commit crimes, especially like a lot of these wicked politicians. And it seems like even if they do get caught, nothing even happens to them. They just say that I'm not going to run for office next time around. So they, in essence, they seem like they just punishing themselves by not running for office, but the crime that they committed never gets punished. But like I said, the eyes of the Lord sees it, and they won't go unpunished. They will be punished. All right. Wanted to take a look too at one more verse here. And I'm going to go to Romans chapter 13. Verse 13, it says, let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and not in envying. All right, verse in the NLT it says, because we belong to the day, we must live decent lives for all to see. Don't participate in the darkness of wild parties and drunkenness, or in sexual promiscuity and immoral living, in quarreling or in jealousy. So it just names a few things. All right, that being envious of the wicked, and you see the wicked when they are going out partying, and when they having their good times, and the things that how they conduct themselves, and things that they include in what they call having a good time, going out clubbing. All right, we're not even to walk in those ways, not even to be involved in those things, and not even really to even pay attention to it, because it looks like they really just enjoying having a good time, you know. And you know, there's been times when we were being in the world, we would go clubbing and be going out and drinking and getting involved in things that we no longer involve ourselves in, because we have separated ourselves from this world and the things that we did partake in before, or we know now that just weren't righteous, they were wicked acts, and we have left that old man behind. All right, but I just wanted to touch on that word and bring out just a few verses involving envy. All right, so I pray that this has been edifying to the listener. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKadosh. Shalom.